Investigating wildlife in the Andes Mountains, Darwin noticed something that plagues all mountaineers who try to boil potatoes. They take ages to cook. Darwin put it down to altitude, and he was right. We learn that water boils at 100 degrees C, but as Darwin noticed, the boiling point varies if you're up a mountain. The potatoes were taking longer to cook because at altitude air pressure is lower, so water boils at a lower temperature. The boiling water just wasn't hot, and you can't cook potatoes in cold water. You can even boil water without heating it at all if you reduce atmospheric pressure enough.
Right, switch the pump on. That is sucking the air out of there. That's lowering the pressure. This is to prove that water will boil at a lower temperature at lower pressure. So, my marshmallow man is to prove... See? That's a vacuum in there.
As you can see, marshmallows expand in low pressure. Useful to know.
Yeah, it's grisly, sorry. But the point here is not to prove what happens to marshmallow men in low pressure, albeit quite funny. It's what happens to water. Actually, this is just like taking it up to high altitude where the pressure's lower. But obviously this is easier.
In fact, the pressure in the jar is the equivalent of being at 85,000 feet, almost 3 times the height of Mount Everest.
I think I can see some bubbles at the bottom. Remember, I'm introducing no heat here. It's just a room temperature, and this room is at a very low temperature. Oh dear. And there it goes. Now, it's not just splashing about for the fun of it. That water is boiling. And that's not because I've introduced any more heat to it. That's just because I've lowered the pressure. Right, I shall now prove that it really is just at room temperature. Air flooding back in, pressure coming back up. Sorry, Marshmallow Man. Bad day. The point being, room temperature. In fact, really very cold, but boiling away happily. I mean, you wouldn't want to make a cup of tea with it, but point, I think, is proved.
So, boiling doesn't mean water reaches 100 degrees. It simply means it turns from liquid to gas, which it does at different temperatures according to pressure.